Yeehaw! The KGC Show with Cowboy Caden. The KGC Show with Cowboy Caden. Everybody know, ohs. Everybody know, ohs. The KGC Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the KGC show. And today, before we get into our guest, I want to talk to you guys. There's something always going on with Danny Stefanetti, our good buddy there, Danny. Yeah, there's always something going on with her. So please go check out DannyStefanetti.com and go hang out and go just follow her for great content, great music, and great everything in between. And today, I am joined by, wow, you talk about one of those TV personnel people that we need to have on everyday TV. I think of this guy right here. He has done a show with William Lee Golden and the Goldens. And he has done so Ronnie McDowell. He's done a show with. And he just has a great way of entertaining a crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the KGC show, my friend and yours, fellow American, Jimmy Bowen. What's going on, Jimmy?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm blessed and honored to be sitting here chatting with you here today. And I really thought I could come up with a better intro, but you know what?
No, man. Hey, you did great, and I do appreciate it. And the pleasure is mine, man, for being on your show. Thank you for having me.
Well, Jimmy, thank you so much. And how's the weather out there in Tennessee?
Tennessee, it's hot and humid, but I'll take the hot and humid over rain and snow and mud and all that mess. I'm and on my personal side, when I'm not doing anything, I'm a water dude, beach dude, anything like that I love. So I hate the winter time. I hate cold weather. So everybody's griping right now. It's funny how people gripe when it's cold, but then they gripe when it's hot. And I never gripe when it's hot. I love this kind of weather, and I know that's weird, but hey, it's hot and humid and pretty and sunny, and I love it.
Oh, I'm right there with you, man. And I want to talk to you a little bit before we get started about, just how the Jimmy Bowen show got started. And I understand that I don't understand. I know you've had some pretty great guests on there. Talk to us a little bit about the Jimmy Bowen show.
Well, I tell you what, man, I hate bringing this up. I don't dwell on the past, and I don't like negativity, but it all really started with COVID. COVID came along in 20, and it kind of knocked everybody's road schedule weird, and everybody in every state, their governors were telling you to stay home and stay under the bed and do nothing, this, that, and the other. And me and my guys were like, we got to do something. Let's do something. We can't go play, so let's go do something. And I'll be honest with you, I've always had this vision because you don't see it. I grew up in an era where there was the Porter Wagner show with Dolly Parton, and you had Nashville Now, you had Nashville on the Road with Jim Ed Brown, Pop Goes Country with Ralph Emery back years ago, and Johnny Cash show during the 70s. And you don't see that anymore. There's not shows like that anymore. And I actually wanted it, and I'm not creating the wheel. I'm just trying to bring back something that hasn't been done in several years. And I got the idea for the variety show from Johnny Cash. I was watching a show on my Dish Network with Johnny Cash, and that night he had himself, what he does. He had Connie Smith, from the Opry. He had Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys, and he had Manford Mann, the old rock band. And I thought, that is such a cool concept between him and his guests. He had about 3 or 4 different styles of music on his show. And I thought, that's what we need to do. So I've tried to make Jimmy Bowen and Friends a variety show. With our show, it's a 30-minute show. But the season, if you watch the whole season after it's out there, there's Irish, there's contemporary Christian, there's gospel, there's old country, new country, bluegrass, I've had Irish trios on there. I'm possibly going to have another Irish trio on season 8 when we film in January. It's just a variety. It's a total variety of music, and that's what I wanted. And we've been very blessed. We've been very blessed. It's really worked out. Actually, what's funny is we started it to give us something to do with during COVID, and here we are getting ready to go into season 8 in January. So it's kind of like we've created a monster, but a good monster. Does that make sense? So that's kind of how it all evolved, and I'll be honest with you, I had a interview with a Texas, because I have a place down in Lubbock, Texas also, and I've established myself as a Texas artist, a Red Dirt Radio artist there, and I was having an interview with through Zoom during COVID with a DJ there, and she was asking me the same kind of questions, and she said, well, I really want to know how you came up with the idea. And I said, well, the thing about it is I said, if you really want to know the truth, Forrest Gump gave me the idea. And they're like, and she started dying laughing, and she said, Forrest Gump, you got to tell me this one. Well, I come from a bluegrass background. So I spent probably 25 years of my career traveling around the country and overseas playing professional bluegrass, and had a great time. But then I felt this urge to change some things with my music a little bit and go with Americana. And so I added a drummer and a steel player and an electric guitar player, along with all the other acoustic instruments that I've got. And actually, we've been very blessed that all the guys in the group, we all travel with the great Earl Thomas Conley. And I would go when we would play, and I would go talk to promoters after we finished. And it was really funny because after I cut my first Americana album, CD rather, with the drums and with the steel and everything, I couldn't get any dates in bluegrass because I've gone country. Yeah. So when I was traveling with Earl and talked to promoters, they loved what we did and what I did. But what's funny is the first thing they would ask me was, how many hits have you had? I'm like, oh my gosh. I can't get booked over here because I haven't had any hits. I can't get booked over here because I'm gone country. In the film, Forrest says, Mama says you got to make your own destiny. And so that's kind of what we're doing. Team Jimmy, Jimmy Bowen and Friends, the band, all my staff, the producer of the show, my publicist, my agent, whole 9 yards. We're doing our own thing, and we're loving it because I'm not, we meet, we talk, and what's best to go this way, what's best to go that way, and we're just doing our thing, and we're having a blast doing it. And I'm not conforming. I know that sounds kind of really outlawish, so to speak, but I'm kind of splitting the road, and I'm going down the middle, and I'm doing what I do, and hopefully people will like it. You know? So,
and, what I love about your show is that, like what you said, is that there's a variety, because there's not a lot of people, you probably see it, when you go, or when you're in Tennessee, you see that there's a whole different variety of music in Nashville, and talk to us a little bit about, how when you first moved to Tennessee and the difference it's made from when you moved there to present.
Oh, man, when I moved here, I moved to Nashville about 38 years ago. And it was different. The business side was always harder, but it's always been hard, is that thing. I mean, social media, the way things now are, I'm very blessed that I'm still able to do what I do in the time that we are, because yourself sitting like what we're doing, we're talking, and your show's going to go out to all these thousands and thousands of people, and with the push of a button. Whereas before, you can promote your stuff through YouTube and pay a small fee or what have you, and reach all these thousands of people, where I can't. How many CDs would I have to mail out to get to that many people? The postage and the cost of the CDs. So I'm very blessed with, I think that the way things have changed with technology has helped. But technology in Nashville, I mean, it's like is kind of like now. Maybe I shouldn't say this live, but it's kind of like, who needs Nashville? Who needs New York? Who needs LA anymore? Because we have the internet, we have social media now, and which has really opened up so much talent. There's so much talent out there, which now has kind of made it harder. Earl Thomas Conley told me one time, said, you know, back in the day, 70s in Nashville, it's somewhat, as for the lack of a better way of saying it, was just as cutthroat then as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But we all sounded different. Earl Thomas Conley didn't sound like Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash didn't sound like Chris Christopherson, and so forth and so on. Everybody had their style. And I'm hearing a lot now, everybody's trying to copy everybody. Nobody tries to be different.
Yeah.
You've got to be different. You cannot sell. And it's like with our television show, you know, I know we film twice a year, and I have to bring in 48 new songs a year for my show. Well, it's hard to find that fits me as a high singer. It's hard for me to find 48 original songs that fit me. That's hard to do. So you get what they call like album fillers. So I call them TV fillers. But when I do the TV fillers, though, I go back into the 60s and 70s and hear songs that you haven't heard in 40 years. Depending on your age, you may never heard of them.
Yeah.
You know, and then we do them our way. Are they called cover tunes? Yeah, cover tunes, they may be called that. But we just try to make it different. And that's what I've always loved Nashville, because there's so much hidden talent in this town. There's so much talent in this town that no one will ever hear of. They'll never know who they are, but everybody has that vision. I always have this thing about that, you know, people put the level of success on the dollar amount of money. And I don't believe in that. I believe in, if you love what you're doing and you can make a living at it, then you become successful. And that's the way I look at it. But there's so many people in Nashville that have such great talent, but you'll never hear it because they spend too much time, to me, playing for tips in the bars in Nashville, trying to be a star.
Yeah, they're trying to be like the next Morgan Wallen or they always look, and that's really one of the things like that, you know, how can you try and be like somebody when the only person you can try and be is the best yourself?
Exactly. And that's what people miss when and I'm sure it happens in LA, it happens in New York, it happens everywhere, you know. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, my last agent got me into acting, and I'm legally, or, you know, really a SAG actor. I did some stuff with Nashville, the television drama. And with my look, I always kind of get the murderer or the robber or whatever kind of look, you know, which is kind of cool. But you know, it's like they always, when they call me for an audition, they're like, will you travel? And I'm like, well, yeah. And they're like, well, we've got an audition for you like out in LA. I'm like, no, I'm not going to LA. How many unemployed actors are out in LA?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, unless Clint Eastwood's going to physically call me on the phone and say, Jimmy, I want you, why would you go do that? You see what I'm saying? There's just so much talent out there, and Nashville's the same way. But it's just, people are striving. I think what you said, they're striving to be somebody else. They want to be on this level like somebody else. And it's just, sit back and do your thing. And that's what made, if you go back in history of music, it doesn't matter what genre, country or bluegrass or rock, jazz, it does not matter. All of those old guys back then had their own style, and you knew who they were when you heard them.
Yeah, and you know, that's the thing is, like, you know, a lot of the times, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, when, you know, you hear a Chris Stapleton song, you can hear Chris Stapleton.
Oh yeah.
Being Stapleton. It's not like he's not trying to be a Christopherson. Well,
no.
Two things. Number one, Chris Stapleton. There's people trying to be Chris Stapleton that will never be Chris Stapleton.
No.
I mean, it's just Stapleton.
Yeah.
You know, I'm probably gonna edit this part out because it's me talking. But you know, music goes beyond anything. It's like what you said, like when you can sit there and close your eyes, and you can, like when you're singing a song or something, um I can sit there and picture that song, because that's what music does.
Right.
That's what, you know. Have you ever had a song that when you sat there and you closed your eyes and then you listened to it and you just had a vision come to you that was like, yeah, I get this song?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 And it happens a lot. And then that's when and to me, that's when you really feel that song. When you can shut your eyes and you sing in that lyric, and you're putting yourself in that role of what that song says. With me for the last few years, I've really had to learn to do that, because I came from a background where I was, as Mr. William told me at his house the other day, he's been very blessed with the Oak Ridge Boys to make a living as a backup singer, harmony singer, because it's part of that group. Well, now he's standing more out front as William A. Golden. So you have to deliver that song a little bit different. He does a great rendition of old Jim Reeves' song "Four Walls." I love to hear him sing "Four Walls," but I'm sure as he's singing that song, he feels that song, and that's the difference. Once you get that and you get that song in your mind, and it happens to me all the time. Every song that we're doing, and I get to that mode, I try to put myself in that song, and that way you can deliver that song and make you, the listener, feel what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
And you do such a great job of interpreting a song, and you and William Lee Golden and Danny Stefanetti, who I mentioned at the top of this program, but you guys, the three of you guys, are some of the most peaceful singers. I can close my eyes and I know when I'm listening to a Jimmy Bowen song or a William Lee Golden song or a Danny Stefanetti song, I know, the image that you guys are trying to paint. And it's just, there are some artists that can do it very well, like yourself and Golden and all of them guys, but then you just get some of these artists that you can simply just see it's for the money. But enough about the music industry. I want to get to you. I know, and I want to say before we even get further into this episode, thank you for what you did for our country. I understand that you were in the Navy for quite some time, and you
it was the Marines, and
sorry.
yeah, it was I went to the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina, and got my degree as military college, and they sent me off to Quantico, Virginia for training for the Marine Corps. And I enjoyed the military part of my life. I almost made that a career. Almost made that a career. When I was in school, I studied a lot of law along with an accounting degree, and the Marine Corps wanted to send me actually to law school, and they would station me at the Judge Advocate's office in Washington, and basically be a practicing lawyer for the United States government. And almost did that. I almost did that. And so, you sit back and you wonder, man, if I'd have known then what I know now, I don't know if I would have stayed and pulled my 20 or 25 years or whatever, But it was great. I think, just from my experience with my military life, that I think everybody should have a little piece of military, just because of what it teaches you. It teaches you a lot. People can't get over the basic training stuff and all the stuff that you have to go through. But I really respect our veterans. I respect our service. I love this country. I'm not real favorable on certain administrations, but that doesn't take the fact that I would stand up for America and would take a bullet for America. And that's just the way it is. And I do so appreciate my military background. It was fun. I know that's weird sounding. People's like, that's, you get your behind kicked for so many weeks during basic training and all this stuff, and you think that's fun. Yeah, but, you learn a lot. You still learn a lot. Military can teach you a lot. People just don't understand that, but they do. It was great.
And I want to say thank you for your service and thank you for everything you did. And you know, it's people like you, past, present, and future, that keep the KGC going, the KGC show going, and and I just want to I honor every single veteran that has ever served, and I take my hat off and I say thank you for that, and talk to us a little bit about you played music while you were stationed. Talk to us a little bit about what
Well,
that was like for you.
yeah, well, I mean, I would play, and even when I was at the Citadel, getting with the college and training and stuff. I mean, if there was a you know, somewhere to go or something, I mean, I can say it now, almost 40 years later, but I'd go AWOL to go play, and you know, sometimes I was late getting back where I was supposed to be, and this, that, and the other, and commanding officers would jump all over me, but they also appreciated what I did and got to play at a lot of cool places over in Europe, and it was um, just a neat experience, and it's one of those things where you can get away with a little bit as long as you're doing your job on the front end, you know, and that's kind of what I did, and just I had a back then, you know, I mean, I was young and dumb at that time, and just a thought of, feel like you get away with something, you know, to go play music and then come back, and then you know, it's like, okay, well, if you get caught going AWOL, you get caught going AWOL, whatever. It is what it is. I'd pay the price and be restricted for a while, and then I'd be back at it again, you know. And it was just, that was an exciting part of life. So it was fun. It was fun. So
Yeah, and I want to hit on this last subject, and you know, I love your music, but
well, thank you.
what, you're welcome. Uh, but as a performer, is there, last few questions? Are there a few? Is there a song of yours that you play and you know that that crowd is gonna react like you don't even have to sing a lyric and they already know the words to?
Yeah, there's crowds like that that do happen, and I try to do the here lately. I've been trying to do like the Freddie Mercury did with Queen. I try to get the audience involved. You know it, sing it with me. You know, get them involved with it, and let them have fun. And that's what we did with our. That was one of the facets that I wanted to do with our television show, was because we were the first 5 seasons we filmed, and I talked to my producer about it, and I said, man, I said, gosh, we're at a morgue. I need to stop this. I don't like this at all. And so I had a meeting with my team, and I had some places picked out, and I wanted to do it live. I wanted to do it live. No quiet on the set, none of that jazz. You know, if you feel like jumping up and dancing, do it. If there's a beer bottle in the background that falls and hits the floor and busts, then don't worry about it. I want it live. And so that's what we try to do now. We switched venues here in Nashville, and we film now at the Troubadour Theater, which is the home of the old Ernest Tubb Record Shop, the Midnight Jamboree. They are such wonderful people. They've opened their arms up to us. We have a great time, and it is really a cool live venue, and it gets people more involved, and that's what I want. I want people to enjoy the show. I want them to have fun. I want them to come in, and if they hear something that they want to sing with me on it. I know it's television, but I don't care. Sing with me on it, you know. And it's a real cool feeling. I'm very blessed with that part of it. It's real neat when you see people out there singing along with you. They may be just moving their lips, you know, but you can tell that they know your music, and that means so much. That means a lot. You know, that means people are listening to you, you know. And,
What was it like? What's it like for you, you know, when you have somebody say, you know, there's a certain song of yours that has helped them get through it, you know, with every artist, it humbles them. I'm sure probably it humbles you. I'm sure about that. But what does it feel for you? What do you get from that?
well, I get the satisfaction that I have touched somebody. You know, that I've made them hopefully feel better about whatever the situation that they were in, that maybe the song or the way I delivered the song, even if it got them away from their issues at the moment, and it took them back to a happier place. Does that make sense? To where it gave them that 3, 5 minute, 6 minute, whatever time period of just they had peace within themselves after listening to the way I delivered this song. And it's very very humbling when they say that. And I have people that come up to me, not all the time, but they come up to me and they'll, they really got a lot out of a song, whatever song that I sang that night and that I did. And it's just, I like that, and I love it when it happens, because like I said, at the end of the day, that means that your music has touched them in a different way other than just going to a bar and hearing music.
Yeah.
You've meant something to them, and that means a lot to me. Just like with my friendship with William Lee. I mean, it's just so, that is so humbling for me as an artist, because of the stature man that he is.
Yeah.
Where he has been, what he has done, what he is doing, and I mean, the man is just, he is so full of wisdom. It's amazing. And I love people like that. He doesn't, and I know, we're talking about William, but I love him to death. And it's just, he doesn't throw where he's been down your throat. He's a man like me and you, and he talks to you and he educates you. And that's so humbling. And that's what I want to do with people, with my audience. If you want to talk to me, come talk to me. Ask me questions. Tell me what you felt. Because that makes me feel good that at least I'm delivering my message. We're kind of like pastors on stage. We're delivering a message. We're trying to deliver something to you and make you feel. We want you to laugh or cry or reminisce or something through music. And so it's very humbling when that happens.
You talked about William Lee Golden, and I will say it again. William Lee Golden, 80 years old, and he looks like he's 25 years old with the way that he runs across that stage. I ain't never seen anything like it.
I know. We, like I said, I was at his home last week, and we were talking about that, and he walks a lot. He's I don't know if he divulged it to you, but he's 84 now, but he moves around where he lives. There's a park where he's near, and he goes and he walks, and he tries to walk. He'll walk sometimes 10 miles a day. And he said, it was so funny. He sat there and he said, well, but when it's cold or rainy and I can't get out and walk, I try to do about 100 sit-ups a day and some squats just to keep my bones moving and my joints moving. And he's like a kid, in a roundabout way. I keep moving around, and he's such an inspiration. He's a real inspiration, because he just, all the years with the Oak Ridge Boys and still doing that. Now he's got his great sons playing with him, and they're doing their thing too. And I mean, you're talking about he's a busy man. And I love that about him.
Yes, and on the day that we are recording this, they will be in Franklin, Tennessee. So my prayers and thoughts go out to William Lee Golden and the Goldens, Chris and Rusty and Aaron or Tim or whoever they got singing the bass, and Elizabeth and all them guys out there for a great show. And Jimmy's going to be up at the show. So
yes.
And Jimmy, before we say bye and thank you so much for coming on, I just want to ask you one last question.
Yeah.
When you are dead and gone, what is one thing that you want to be remembered by?
Oh man, with me it's kind of different, man. A lot of artists sit out here and they want to be remembered by this song or this music, and I've always told people that I want to be somewhat remembered for the music and what I try to do as an artist, but I also have that internal determination to where it's like I would like to be remembered as that, he was never negative. He was a hard worker. He kept going. He kept pushing for his dreams. And I think that that's what people need to do. If they will, and I try to educate, especially young people that talk to me about it, and it's like, leave the financial part out of it. Let's don't worry about the financial part of it. Let's worry about you basically have you have a one-way ticket through life, and follow your dreams. Do what you want to do. It's going to be hard. I know it's going to be hard.
Yep.
But persevere. Be positive. Don't be around negative people. Surround yourselves with successful people. And I think that's one of the reasons, man. I'll tell you what, real quick, when we did our first show, our first season of the Jimmy Bowen and Friends television show, my guitar player called me. One of my guitar players called me and goes, "Man, well, you did it." And I said, "Did what?" And he said, "You pulled it off. We did it. You did it." I said, "No, sir. We did it. This is a team effort. I needed everybody on my team. Everybody on my team is positive. They're not negative. We move forward, and everybody has the same goal. And that's what I try to tell people. That's what I like to remember by that. You try to educate people and say, don't be negative. There's no time for negative. Turn that negative into a positive and move forward and stick with your dreams. Stay with the God-given talent. I have met so many people that have, and it doesn't matter whether it's music or just in anything, any kind of talent, and they're throwing it away because they don't feel like they can do it. But it's a God-given talent. And I just try to educate people, and I want to be remembered that way too, along with the music, but also remember that, hey, he stayed up for people. He tried to stay positive for people and try to lead you in this right direction, and stay confident in what you do, and don't let everybody. And that's one of the things that I love about my military career. They always taught you can't never could and can't never will, and stick it out. Don't quit. Don't don't quit. And that's what I try to push with people. And I like for people to remember me that, hey, he told me, and he proved it. And I I told my wife, I said, when I'm dead and gone, I said, please put on my tombstone that he died trying. I never quit. I died trying, dude.
You it's been an honor for me to sit here, and now that we've gotten to the end of the interview, the last, but probably you were probably wondering, when is he going to ask this question? Where can people find you?
They can find me. All my information is at jimmybowen.com, www.jimmybowen.com. We have everything out there. We're going to be putting tour dates up there, but they can watch the television show. We got a music icon on there for television. If they don't have any of the stations that we're on, they can watch it straight from the website. We have YouTubes on there. They can watch all the shows. They can listen to the shows or watch them via YouTube. It's got all the information at jimmybowen.com. It's also got all the TV affiliates under that TV menu. So if you've gotten rid of your cable or your dish and you use Roku or Hulu or Peacock or Sling or whatever, we've got TV affiliates, and we give you the link to where you can go. If you don't have that app, we give you the app link to download through Roku or whoever you've got. So if they'll go to jimmybowen.com, and of course we've got the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram and all that stuff. So I'm all over social media, my man.
Well, you guys please not only check out the Jimmy Bowen and Friends show, but please, just if you want a great guy to just talk to and just be there for you in your corner, this guy's a great guy to do it. Please check him out on Jimmy Bowen and Friends, and please check out his website, jimmybowen.com. And Jimmy, it's been an honor to sit down and chat with you, man. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And
I did, man. This has been great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We need more people like you, my friend, that helps us and get out there. And a lot of people like to hear the personal side of things, They hear the music, but hey, what's going on? What do you do at home when you're sitting around doing nothing? What do you do? People like that, They like to see that we're human too,
Yeah. Yeah. Jimmy, it's been my honor, and I hope we can do this again sometime, man.
Hey, you let me know, my man. I am here for you, and I do appreciate you so much.
Well, ladies, thank you, Jimmy, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for coming back. I enjoyed my time off, but right now I just feel welcome back, and what a great way to be welcomed back with Jimmy Bowen, and with that, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to remind you guys that DannyStefanetti.com for more information on Danny, and she's coming out with her new record, which is a must-have. If you guys haven't had that Danny Land or that Danny Stefanetti live from Big Bear, and I think the first copies are all sold out, and I think they're making more. But please do me a favor and support Danny, and she's going to take us out with the original KGC theme song. Thank you, Danny, for writing it. Thank you, Jimmy, for being here. And we'll be back with you here real soon on the KGC show. with Cowboy Caden. Thank y'all so much.
Yeehaw! The KGC Show, the Cowboy Caden. The KGC Show, the Cowboy Caden. Everybody knows. Everybody